This is Olivia On Air. We're up to episode 39. Hello, Olivia. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Before we went live, we are talking about the spring weather, getting all warm. Are you doing anything with the warmer weather right now?
Well, the weather's kind of always warm. Um,
Oh, that's
but
true.
right now, one big thing that I have to do is I have to purposefully wake up earlier and earlier so I can take my dogs for a walk because one of them is super fluffy and he can walk in the hot, but I'm not evil and cruel, so I'm not going to make him do that. And in the summer, last summer, I had to wake up at like 5 or 6 to get him out before the heat, because heat comes with the sun. So yeah. What about you?
No, nothing much. I was doing just doing some cleaning around my house, and so because it was the warmer weather, and decided to get rid of a lot of stuff. So, but other than that, no, I'm just one thing I noticed is the bugs started appearing outside, and I can't stand the bugs. But that's
Mm.
nothing I can deal with. I can't stop that. So, but other than that, it's we've had a little bit of rain, and it gives this horrible. I don't know if you get this kind of rain where you are, or if you've experienced this, where it rains and it's just really warm afterwards sometimes, and it's just like annoying if you have to turn the air conditioning on, but then you feel like you have to turn the heat on because it gets kind of a weird balance there. So, and and I'm driving in the car and it just gets really weird. So, that's the only thing I can't stand.
Yeah, we had some rain like that where I think it was last maybe 2 weeks ago. I was driving in the car with my dad on the highway, and you could see it was one of those times where you could see where the rain stopped. Like you could, and you can drive past where the rain stops, and it was sunny still, and it was also the sunset. So the sun was shining through the rain. It was really weird. It was more like mystical weird. Like, I don't know. It was really cool.
Oh, good. Yeah, I've seen those before too. Yeah, those are kind of interesting. Like, well, at least I think the expression "sun showers." I don't know if that's still a thing. If they still
Yeah.
did, so it's like something like that. No. But okay. Well, before we go too far, I want to remind everybody if you'd like to support what we're doing, we have an affiliate link for NordVPN in the description below. YouTube recently redesigned their description page, so it still shows there. You can actually click on it. It's just kind of blurred together now with the number of people that are watching for some reason. It's kind of weird, but you can see the link, and you can the right now I believe it's a 60% discount if you buy the service. You have to get a 2-year plan, but I do have used NordVPN, and it's I would definitely recommend it. You can protect your identity and hide your location, and several people have even said you can watch TV shows or streaming services from other parts of the world that would normally be blocked in your country. So, if you decide to purchase the service, you're supporting what we do, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Yes. I did not notice that the YouTube changed the description box.
Yeah, they changed that, and they changed the title, the video title. Now it's like a darker font or a slightly bolder font, not really darker, but like just a darker font or bolder. I keep on saying the wrong word there, but yeah, it's like they're going through a slight changeover. I guess every once in a while they just do these subtle changes, and it's not really that drastic, but it's definitely a little. I notice it right away because the NordVPN link is just kind of merged now. It used to be like kind of standing on its own, but now it's definitely like it says right now we have 4 people watching, and we started our stream 3 minutes ago, and you can see the NordVPN kind of blurred, almost like it continues in the same sentence just after that, like it's the same thing. It's kind
Oh,
of
that's
weird.
weird.
Yeah. So, all right.
Okay.
What was our question from last show? Do you remember? I can't remember what it was.
It was. Oh, would you ever renovate a home?
Ah, well, let's
I
see.
think. Was it? I think
Was
so.
it, or was it to do with was it to do? Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, cool. Yeah, here it is. Got it. All right. I got a pretty decent response here. I'll bring it up on the screen for us to look at. Give me a second here. All right. So we got 1,500 votes so far. It's pretty good. And it's overwhelming. Well, 2/3, almost close to 2/3. I would make some small improvements, but nothing extensive. 25% with I would renovate my own house, and 6% with I wouldn't renovate a home, and 5% I would renovate to sell after.
That's as I would expect.
Yeah. I'm doing I would say I said earlier I was doing some renovations. I was more or less doing some major cleaning. I haven't really done any major renovations yet. Unfortunately I got a little bit of a mold issue in my basement, so I got to take care of that. So that's not good. But that's not, I don't know if that would fall under renovation. I just have to get somebody in here to take a look at it and see if they can help me get rid of that. But other than that, I'm just basically doing a lot of house cleaning essentially.
Sometimes house cleaning can feel like renovation, though.
Yeah. I got rid of, in fact, I got rid of so much stuff that I feel like I just moved back into the house because the stuff I kept is in boxes, and I'm sleeping on my bed in the living room now, because I haven't put everything back yet, and I got rid of most of my furniture, and I don't have any rugs on the floor now, so I feel like I'm in a different place. So it's almost like I'm renovating. So.
Yeah, almost. Wow.
Uh, but as far as renovate, why did we ask this question? Was this to do with I was gonna say what that video game that we the Sims?
Sims?
Yeah, was this related to the Sims? I forget.
Maybe. It might have been.
Okay.
I'm not sure, actually.
We've got a couple of answers here. Well, Beast Mode's really got a, oh my goodness, Beast. Oh, he's got a long response here. We'll go with Kiss Best Fan. Says I already did renovate my house, and I will be doing it again nowadays. Through less and less nowadays. Nowadays, though, less and less people are willing to take up some tools and work. That's true. I think so. I'm not. I'm gonna. Yeah. I'm gonna. Beast mode has got too much there. I'll let everyone else read it. Thank you for the response, though. So, unless you feel like tackling that, reading that, did you want to read that?
I can. All right. Bro, I desperately need to renovate my older family's home. Notice the emphasis on need. It's not necessarily a choice. I have a malfunctioning furnace that barely keeps our house warm at all, and 50-year-old leaky plumbing with copper and crap insulation. Let's see what else. Oh, and that is on top of a non-usable attic. No closets, black mold, and several aesthetic issues. So yeah, if I had $150,000, I could live in something you would consider to be average. And that is after renovating this large space because it is no home to me. Wow.
Mm.
That's a lot. Yeah, I feel like maybe, aesthetic issues is kind of the last thing on the list there. Um, but yeah, seems like a lot.
Yeah, I've got some of the issues he's got there with it says the black mold. That's something I got to get rid of in the basement. The old copper pipes. I have pipes that are they spring little tiny pinhole leaks. So I cut the pipe out, put a new section in, and then another one pops up around, and I got to cut the old pipe out. So I got to get a plumber in here because his house, he says 50 years old. Mine is probably closer to almost 60 years old. So I'm dealing with that house. So I'm dealing with some issues that he's dealing with. Both Beast Mode and I are not exactly the same, but and we have some similar issues that we're trying to deal with. So but that's interesting. So, alrighty. Thanks everybody. We appreciate the responses on that. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I will go ahead and post our next question if you'd like to read it.
I said, do you roller skate or blade? And if so, which do you prefer? The answers are yes, I used to, I just started, and no. Let's start with my dad. My dad used to be a cab driver, and he used to drive through the DC area. And one thing he hated when he was driving in DC is when a rollerblader would ride in a lane of traffic as if they were a car. He would get really upset with that. So, and I had seen them. It was only in DC where they would do that. They wouldn't do it in Maryland or Virginia, but they would definitely do it in DC. I don't know what they think, but I guess they think they're entitled to take up a whole lane of traffic while they do their precious rollerblading. So, but as far as I've never done either. I did some ice skating, a little, not just for fun, maybe once or twice, nothing really extensive. And I kept on falling on my butt. That was I remember my butt was really sore afterwards. So,
But other than that, that's the closest I've come to doing either of those.
Yeah, ice skating is, I don't particularly like it because ice is harder than the ground, like the regular ground. I
Hmm.
don't know. I mean, it's ice. It's like, I don't know, and it's cold. It makes it worse. I don't like it.
Yeah. And I also hurt my hands because every time I'd fall, or I remember, I haven't done it for a while, but what I do remember is I would automatically, because I was falling backwards, I'd put my hands back, and so my hands, my wrists started hurting after a while. So it's annoying.
Yeah.
So I'm curious is if people have experienced that with roller skating or roller blading, that's an issue. Is roller skating really a thing anymore?
Well, around me, it is. I didn't, when I lived in Maryland, I like rarely saw it, but down here in Florida, I don't know if it's all over Florida or just kind of near me, but there's this big long sidewalk that leads into downtown Tampa, and it goes along the road, this really like fancy rich people houses road that also, takes you into downtown. And it's called Bayshore Boulevard, and it's, I see rollerbladers and roller skaters skating like it's the 80s. They do it all the time, and they, like, it's every single day, rain or shine. It literally looks like you're, I don't know. It's a typical, bay or beach sort of thing. If you're by the water, I feel like that's kind of more common because it's, a nicer temperature all the time, and you can take up a hobby like that all year round instead of just having it for like just the summer, because I feel like roller skating and rollerblading are things, for me anyway, that you got to do all the time to be safe enough on the sidewalk to do them. But I see it all the time there.
Hmm, okay. And also to get back to the our movie for this evening, it was. Did you say that was the reason you chose this question? Was because of that for the movie?
Yes.
Okay. So yes, our movie this evening is Xanadu, starring Olivia Newton-John and Gene Kelly. Excuse me, I forgot his name for a second there. And there's a lot of roller skating in that. No roller blading because roller blading had not come out yet when this movie was written. So just a lot of roller skating. So and at the time it came out, I would say that that was a very popular trend. So and we can get into it more when we get to our movie discussion there. But that's the main reason why we're asking this question.
Yeah, rollerblading seems scary. Like ice skating, I feel like with ice skating and rollerblading, I tend to like bow my feet inwards to, I don't know, for balance, I guess. I don't know.
Hmm. That's interesting. Did you say that you have not done roller ice skating? I forget what you said about that.
I've done it a little, but I don't like it because the ice is too cold and too hard.
Yeah, too hard. Is it? Would you say it's similar in any way though, to anything else, or would you?
Mm, I feel like they're similar in that, you're gliding on the ground, but I started roller skating when I was 4 or 5. I went to, when we lived in California. There was a roller rink really close, and that was a good activity for my parents and I to do. And so I started roller skating then, but then when we moved to Maryland, I was probably about 8, and I hadn't done it since then until today, I guess. Um, and well, I have all like the padding and stuff, and there's like hand braces, so I didn't fall. But if you do fall, you're more protected in that way. And I don't think I've ever seen an ice skater with like a helmet, or I guess other than hockey players, with like a helmet or padding or anything. So
Mhm.
maybe it's different.
Okay.
Plus,
No.
there's rocks on the road, and those sometimes mess me up.
Oh yeah. I didn't even never even thought about that. Yeah, this little tiny. Like you're talking like little tiny rocks too, not like big things.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah, and like sticks and like a leaf.
Oh, leaf.
Because
I
that'll
guess
mess me up.
I didn't think about leaves because leaves are bad for cars too. So it's interesting. So.
That's true. And yeah, I was just using today I went out because I was inspired by the movie. It looked fun. Um, so I went out for probably like 30 minutes. I feel like I started out really, really bad, but I just got to like very novice by the end of it. So that was good. And I was using a baseball bat to like as like a cane. You know, I wish I had a walker, but I'm not old, so I don't.
Oh. Bummer that you're not old.
Yeah, really just my life is so hard. Can't believe it. I don't have a walker because I'm not old.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and post our question. Does it look good?
Yes.
All right, here we go. We'll come back to that later in the show. So our movie for this evening is Xanadu, and it's reason we chose this is because we watched Gene Kelly's. What was the Gene Kelly movie we watched last time? I forget.
An American in Paris.
Thank you. And so we decided to watch another Gene Kelly movie. Essentially, well, he's not the main character. He's not does not play, but he plays a strong supporting character in this. So.
Yes.
And I thought it was interesting because this is a movie that made me admire Gene Kelly because his dancing does very well, and I've seen him bits and pieces everywhere else. I enjoyed our movie that we saw last, at least the dancing we saw in our last movie. This plot was kind of weak, but the dancing was still done very well. So I admire a person who can do that, and not only that, how successful he was at that as well, at doing things like that. So
yeah,
it takes a lot of effort. So
yeah, I think the plot of this movie was stronger than the last one, but not incredible.
Right. So the plot of this movie, let me go ahead and bring up I'll bring it up here. No, whoops, didn't mean to. Here comes the movie right here. So we can see this. So basically, we have our main character. The guy who plays the main character is not, he's not really a well-known actor. So Olivia Newton-John is really the main character, but the guy that the love interest in this movie, I guess you could say his name is Sonny Malone. That's the character's name. And we bring it up here. There we go. So he's basically kind of a lot of people say that he's very an annoying character. Would you describe him as being annoying?
I would say he's wishy-washy. I would say it seems like if he was a real person, I would not like him.
Okay.
But for the movie's purposes, sure.
So I saw this movie when I was 11 years old, and so I was because of that I have a different perspective of this movie. If I saw it as an adult, I'm sure it'd be completely different. But since I was 11, I actually liked this movie, and I still like it today. And I can understand why, objectively, like this would not be necessarily a good movie. So a lot of people have said it's not a good movie, but in my mind, I still think, oh, it's a really good movie. Because I was so young when I saw it for the first time. So.
I thought it was I feel like if you take it as like the plot of the movie, then it's not amazing. But if you look at it for the movie as a whole and you see, you try to see the art of it and like the dance scenes and the roller skating talent, I thought that was great. I thought, the artistic and whimsical part of it was what made it a pretty good movie because I liked all the effects that they had and all that stuff. I thought it was fun.
Okay. And before we go too far, Desmond Haas Play 3.0 is back. Hello, Desmond Haas. Thank you.
Hello.
So the basic plot of the movie is Sonny is he's an artist who's not. This is where it gets really annoying because as far as a lot of people say, he's got a job to do, but he doesn't want to do his job, so he takes it out on the employer, the people who are paying him to do a job. In a sense, gets angry at them because they're telling him to do his job the way they want it done, which is kind of weird. So,
I really would not, because that's one part that I did get frustrated about. I was thinking like for an artist, I guess at any time, but like in history, an artist to get a job doing art, that's like a really big deal, and I feel like it doesn't really come around that often, especially with painting. Especially nowadays because everything is so digital. So it's like a huge opportunity that he has, and even if it is replicating covers, he does it well. And so like if he's getting paid for it, that really did frustrate me. But whatever.
Yeah, so he's kind of that's the annoying aspect of his character. He's like I want to do things. I want to have my own life. Blah 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 blah. And he went on his own. He failed, so he had to come back and go to this job which he hates. Which is like, and then which makes a lot of people not like his character. I've seen other people in the reviews say they don't like him because of that. So he comes over. We get to see our Olivia Newton-John and the Muses.
That was my favorite. I love that scene. It's so fun.
Mm-hmm. And we get to see. No, I got to say, when I was a kid, I thought that the hairstyles from the '70s were very nice, but then during the '80s, it got kind of weird with mullets and all these other ones. And so I've seen Olivia Newton-John in this. When I was a kid, I really liked her. She was one of my. I thought she was very attractive. So the three women I liked when I was a kid were Olivia Newton-John, Beverly D'Angelo, and Terry Garr. So they were all like my mother's age. So, but the I thought she looked really, every scene in this, I thought she looked really nice, she was really attractive, except for there was one little scene which I'll point out. But and then during the '80s, she got that standard '80s hairstyle. This was technically, this was the '80s, but this is like more like the end of the '70s or this. But she had this different hairstyle that was like other women had during the '80s, and I thought, man, why did you do that? You look so much better in Xanadu. So, but that's just my opinion on things. The as the movie goes along, we get to see her come to life, and it's a magical movie. There's no sense to it as far as, don't look for any realism to it. It's just basically the muses are, oh, I guess they're technically alive already, but they're just coming to life through the painting, I guess you could say. So she's coming to fill his dream, Sonny's dream, to make him a success of whatever it is. And of course, as the movie goes along, the plot, he doesn't really become a successful painter. He just becomes a successful business owner of a dance club.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really make much sense there as far as the plot goes. So Olivia Newton-John is billed as the top character, but he's kind of like the main character, I guess. It kind of, because it really focuses more around him. It's his story, but she is still the main character according to the casting. From what I understand, this movie was not finished when they started. It was just supposed to be a roller skating movie, and then there wasn't going to be any muses. There wasn't going to be supernatural aspects. It was just going to be a straight some sort of roller skating movie. I don't know all the details. And as they started filming, they hadn't finished the plot, so the script was constantly being rewritten, and that made a lot of people. It made it a little bit hard to produce. And by the time it was done, it was just not really. The final product was not considered to be very well made, is what I'll say. And she basically comes into his life, kisses him at the very beginning, and the expression, she uses the expression later on, "kissed by a muse," which was supposed to be her way of basically helping him fulfill his dreams. But she didn't. She just helped him become a business owner. So, but as we see, as it goes along, we get to see he meets Gene Kelly's character, whose name is Danny McGuire, and Danny McGuire is the name of a character he played in another movie way back in the day. So it's not a continuation of the character he played before. It's just they decided to use the same name. So I forget which movie it was though. But so there was another movie that Gene Kelly was in way back in the day where he did a lot of dancing, and they decided to revise or what's the word I'm looking for? Just bring back the name. So Gene Kelly, they meet, they decide to hook up in a sense. And Gene Kelly's character, his name is Danny, I said before. Danny tells him that he wants to do a dance club, or what was it, a dance club exactly? Is that what it was?
I think so.
Okay. And so Sonny here, he keeps on seeing Kira, which is Olivia Newton-John's character. So he goes to this building right here is the Pan. I always forget what this. My dad told me what this was when I was a kid. It was actually a pretty famous building at the time, the Pan Pacific Auditorium. So it was a real building. It was actually declared an historic landmark, but unfortunately, like during the late '80s, it got burned down, so it doesn't exist anymore. So, but it was actually originally used for boxing. I think they even said in the movie, like, used for boxing or something, and that's what it was used. So
yeah, they did.
And so that part of it was actually, they were being historically accurate. He goes in, he meets her, and that's when he's fascinated by her. And it never really explained why he's fascinated by her. Is it supposed to be the kiss that maybe attracted him to her, or because he's always chasing after her for some reason?
I think it's because she's a muse. I think it's just because she's, yeah, one of the muses.
Okay. Okay. So the story goes along. He's disgruntled with his job again. He gets to go. He goes with Gene Kelly's character, and they talk about music, how they like music, and he says, "Hey, I know about the Pan America building. Why don't you build your new club there?" And he says, "Hey, we'll make you a partner." And it's like, okay, cool. So they go ahead and this one scene right here where the two of them are dancing with Olivia Newton-John is the only, from what I understand, was the only scene in the movie where you don't see the camera, or you actually see the camera, excuse me, where the camera is actually moving with the characters. There are one of very few scenes. What I mean is most of the scenes in this movie, the camera is just static, very stationary. And Gene Kelly wanted to, as usual, like with most of his movies in the past, he would choreograph everything. He wanted to choreograph the camera work as well as the dancing, so he got the camera to actually move with the characters. Whereas most of the movie, it does not. It's very static. So
Cool.
and so they get a chance to see him dancing, which is really good. There's a lot of good elements in this. And Gene Kelly did this. When he did this, he didn't want to do it at first, but they convinced him to do it. And I watched some interviews off making of movie videos, and the basic idea was when when everything was done, he said it was a good idea, just not implemented very well, is the way he put it. So
He
the
didn't
whole
want to do the dance or the movie.
the movie at first, I'm sorry, he did not want to do the movie at all, but he was brought in. He talked to some of the people who were big fans of his, and that attracted him too, because they knew who he was, and they actually did some dance moves with him to show how much they liked his work. And he decided, okay, I'll go ahead and do the movie. And then the final result when the movie was finished was, he said, it was a great idea, just not implemented very well. That's what he said.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so the movie goes along. It turns out that Kira is also supposedly the woman that he met back in the day. He even makes reference to her. He says, "Hey, don't I know you?" And then she goes, "No, I don't." And which is kind of rude if that's true. She's just like, pretending like she doesn't know him when she actually does. So
I don't think she can tell him. I don't think she can say, yes, I'm a muse, and that's why I've stayed this young, because I'm actually the daughter of Zeus. I think maybe he would have a heart attack.
okay, that's a good point. Good point. So as we go along, we got a lot more song and dance numbers, music. The music, by the way, is done by ELO, Electric Light Orchestra. Can't say that.
I do love them.
And the music is, when this movie came out, even though the movie did not do well, the soundtrack did extremely well in several parts of the world. Also, another band that was featured in this is the Tubes from the 1980s. There's a scene where they do a combination 1940s and modern rock music. It's the Tubes that are the modern rock band, that when they go back and forth.
Cool. I did not know that part.
Yeah. And as they go along, they gradually fall in love with each other. And there's a scene, there's a cartoon segment. I want to touch on that before I forget. There was a cartoon segment that was inserted into this, where the two of them turn into cartoon characters. Where is that?
I think it was later. I think it was after they were.
Oh, here it is. Right
yeah,
here.
there it is.
Yeah. So this was actually done by Don Bluth, who's a famous cartoonist. He used to work for Disney, and so this. As Gene Kelly says, I agree that there was a lot of good elements, just not really implemented very well. And Don Bluth did a pretty decent job with this cartoon. So
I thought it was great. It reminded me of the Secret of Nim and the Rescuers. That's kind of what it looks like. And Fern Gully. I loved Fern Gully when I was a kid.
Oh, okay. I've only seen, the only one of those I've seen is the Rescuers, and I haven't seen that since I was a kid, so I don't remember it very much. But so as the movie goes along, we do more dance scenes, more musical numbers, and we eventually get to the point where they're about to open the dance club. The two of them are falling in love, and it turns out that because she's a muse, she's not supposed to fall in love with anybody. So Sonny has to try to find out a way to keep her here, and that's when she discloses that she's actually a muse. And then we have these little comical musical movie scenes where she first she has a dictionary where he gets out the definition of a muse, and the last line is, "Now do you believe me, Sonny?" because she added that to the definition of the in the book. And then he goes, how do you do that? And then she was able to manipulate the TV movie, or the movie on the TV, so that they're talking to him, and then she actually appears in the movie while they're talking. So, as the anything else you'd like to add so far? I'm basically trying to. I didn't want to keep on talking and ignore anything that you wanted to say.
It's okay. You're covering everything, I think. Yeah.
Okay. And also, before we go too far, we got a couple of hellos. But I'm sorry, Batistos. Hello back. And Eduardo Sousa says, "Mas como ese afata e." I'm not sure what that means. I hope that's good. So, alrighty. So, now as the as the style of this movie. Now, this came out in 1980. Like I said, this is more like a 70s movie. Really, it's like the tail end of the 70s. The fashion of this is really looks like a lot of 70s stuff, because the 80s. By the time the 80s was really moving forward, people were not dressing like this anymore. So, and we have these scenes where there were a lot of people dancing. One of the I watched actually another video where someone critiqued this movie as a musical. And one of the biggest flaws he said with the movie was the static camera, where the camera hardly ever moved. And also the fact that when these dance scenes occurred, it was focusing on parts of, you couldn't see the whole dancing routine. So like in a standard Gene Kelly movie, the camera would be panned back and a downward angle, so you could see everything around in the back, in the foreground. Whereas this one, the camera shots are just level, or almost at ground level most of the time. And you're not able to get an idea as to how big the dance number actually is. It looks very small, and you're missing part of it, a lot of it as well. And I don't know who did the cinematography, but that same person who did that review on YouTube also stated that he was surprised that person did that, because he was also a highly experienced cinematographer, and why he would do that, he was not sure. So
Wow.
But he's right. I never noticed that. Of course, I'm still looking at this through a child's eyes, through an 11-year-old eyes, not an adult eyes. And so, as a kid, I didn't notice all that stuff. But he is right that most of these shots are still. You don't really. There's a lot of dancing where it's just like you'll see Olivia Newton-John, but none of the other dancers, and it's like even she will go out of camera sometimes, which is really odd. So
That's true. Yeah.
So as the movie goes on, he's able to Sonny falls more in love with her, so he's going to try to find where she's at. Gene Kelly tells him to if you got here, there's a way to get to her. So of course the only way to get to her is to fly through the painting. Like, I guess that's supposed to make sense, but we don't never explain how he knows that. So, but he takes his roller skates full speed and goes into the painting, and appears in the with Zeus and Mrs. Zeus. I don't know what's Mrs. Zeus.
I think that's just the disco ring.
Okay.
Where they are discoing. I don't know. And I guess Zeus is just kind of the giant voice.
Right. So we would actually get a chance to see Zeus, but and then we get to see Kira, and she goes, she wants to go with him, but she's not allowed to. And then Zeus, she has another song. All the songs she does, she's really good. She's really talented. So I loved all the songs she did. I love all the songs that ELO did, and I even love the 40s stuff. It was done pretty well. And after she does her little song where she pleads with them, they decide, oh, okay, yeah, you can go there forever or just for a few minutes. I forget which is which, or something to that effect. So
yeah, I do like how they add those in. That's funny.
Mm-hmm. So she does a little dance number, or song. I mean, so we get to see Xanadu when it opens up. And this is where we get to our major roller skating. There's a lot of roller skating with Sonny at the beginning, but this is where we get the major amount of roller skating. So, and I think this is where the original plot of the movie was supposed to be about roller skating, because there's not really, aside from Sonny and Kira running around once in a while, we don't really see roller skates until this part of the movie, essentially, as a main focus, I mean. So, and so we do a big song and dance routine. Olivia Newton-John does her songs again, and the as I didn't notice this until I watched another review, but all these women who are dancing are all the other muses. They're all so they all come back to do all these dance routines too.
Yeah, I recognized one of them at one point, but I didn't realize that it was all of them. So
Yeah,
that was cool.
and so we have the music. Like I said, I think the music in this movie is really good. We have this final dance scene where well, it's like a mix of all things. There was a weird country thing going on during the late 70s and early 80s. I remember that. I don't know what that was about. It's kind of faded away, but this was different than the modern country music. You wouldn't see this kind of thing in a modern musical, or it'd be done differently. So, um, this is the one scene where I said she looked great in every scene. This is the one scene where I don't think she looks that good. I don't know. This outfit just looks pretty bad to me. So, let's see. Bring it up here. That one right there. To me,
Oh, interesting.
I did not like that one. So,
That kind of reminds me. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Good. I was pretty much finished. Go ahead.
The colors kind of remind. Well, they do very much remind me of. I don't know if you pay attention to the Met Gala, but the Met Gala look that Blake Lively had on this year was those exact colors, because it was supposed to be the green, the mint green, metallic was supposed to be the Statue of Liberty, when it was it was the copper color that was supposed to be the Statue of Liberty before it was oxidized, and then after the green. Never mind. It was just this elaborate look that used the same colors.
Okay. Where was that again? I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you were talking about. You said the gala?
It's a Met Gala. It's originally it was to raise money for the Met, the museum thing, I think it is. And then now it's more of a celebrity fashion showcase that happens when it's like the biggest fashion event of the year. And there's always a theme, and it seems like every single year the celebrities get more and more off theme. Like they don't even read their little invitations. But anyway, this year the theme was Gilded Glamour, which is referring to I think it's the late 1800s in America specifically. And so Blake Lively is an actress, and she went as the Statue of Liberty because the Statue of Liberty was gifted to America in the late 1800s, I guess. So that's her.
It was, yeah. It was gifted to the United States for the centennial celebration in 1776. So, and for the first 10 years, I believe, if someone might correct me if I'm wrong, it was the head stood there for like 10 years until the body was actually erected up. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, but it was a gift for the 100 years anniversary of the United States. So
from France, right?
Yes, from France.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
So I might have some of those details off, but I'm pretty close. I'm sure I'm pretty close on that. So, but anyway, so we have this final scene where she disappears, and at the very end, somebody's like sad, and he's like, all of a sudden, another woman that looks like Kira, or maybe it's Kira, they don't say, comes into his life, and he's happy again. So, and that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, I was confused by that part.
Yeah. So we don't get an answer, and the problem is that there were so many script changes, from what I understand, as the movie went along, that we don't really know. It's a problem with the script. It was just constantly being rewritten as the movie went along. So, and that's why the ending is kind of weak, or the whole movie is actually kind of weak. So, how would you describe the plot as a whole in this?
The plot,
the weak. It's
jumbled.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I cut you off. Say it again.
Jumbled for the plot, I would say. It felt like a draft.
Okay. So like they needed to go back and redo it a few times, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Maybe a few more people read it and gave feedback on it. That would have been good. Mm-hmm. But I love the artistry of it. I love how other than the camera work, I guess, but I love how they, got so many people that were good at roller skating, and they're really good. And then there were the costuming and all that stuff. It was really great, and I love I thought it was just whimsical and fun.
It's a fun movie. Like I said, I always liked this movie because it was something I really liked when I was a kid. In fact, I do remember there was an interview with Olivia Newton-John in the early '80s, and I thought the movie had done well. Of course, I wasn't really paying attention to the critics, and I remember her being interviewed, and they introduced her as the star of the movie Grease. And I was like, I said, wait a minute, what about Xanadu? Why did they skip it? So, and so how do you feel? So this is getting to the colors. So this is what you're talking about with the different colors here.
Yeah, the colors. I mean, through the whole thing, I loved the colors of the outfits, like specifically hers. Her outfits were fun, and I just thought, I mean, the perfect word for it was whimsical. It was just kind of a fun artistic movie.
Right. And then at the beginning, we were talking about the fact that he is an artist. How do you just this is more of a technical question. How accurate do you think everything there was portrayed as artwork?
If someone could paint as fast as he did, and as well as he did now or anytime, I think they would be very world famous, or I would hope. And I don't think he would ever need to struggle to find money, because that is so difficult. But it is possible. I can't do it personally. Well, I haven't tried, but it is possible to paint that accurately. And I'm sure back then repainting or replicating album covers for promotion stuff was, that's how they did it. But I'm sure nowadays, I don't think that would ever happen, because you can just digitally do everything, unless it was a custom piece for like some rich person in their house.
Well, technically, I guess you could even. Well, I guess it would be too pixelated if you took a photograph back then and enlarged it. It would probably just too grainy. I guess by the time you try to enlarge it, but that's probably why I think this is based on a real thing too. One of the things I watched was, and I don't have all the information, so I might be wrong in this, but the Sonny's character was based on an actual person that was a friend of the people that made the movie, and they thought that was kind of an interesting career, so they based it on that a little. So.
Oh, cool. And I don't think his boss would be mad at him for being too good, because even if the cover did look better, or I mean, even if his replication did look better than the original cover, that would probably be better promotion. So I don't think he would get in trouble for being too good.
Yeah, we got to Hollywood up the movie to show that he's got the angry boss, and he's the guy that's fighting against the man, I guess.
Yeah.
So. And anything else I wanted to add about that? Yeah, the costumes. You're right. Olivia Newton-John's costumes were done very well. Like I said, except for that one. Like I said, I thought she looked great in all of this. Where's that scene with it? I kind of skipped over that. Let me get back to that. There we go. This is the scene where they had I thought this was done pretty well as far as combining the two kinds of music together. You had the 40s music, and then you had the tubes playing their rock music and they just blended them together, and it just came together as one piece. And by the end of the song, it was all matched together correctly, and it flowed pretty well. What do you think about this?
I feel like this was one of the scenes where, when you said that they didn't move the cameras, this is kind of the first scene I thought of, because it felt like there was too much going on in the frame. And if they had moved the camera, if they had kind of moved it with who we were supposed to be focusing on, I feel like that would have made it a bit better, because you can see in a lot of these, there are a lot of extra people around that, I don't know, it just seems very cluttered, and like it's not choreographed, and it's more so like I don't know. Maybe it's, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
It's just you're missing, I guess, the whole picture. Maybe something to that effect. Is that what you're leading?
Yeah. And then this one was kind of too much of the whole picture for me. I feel like this should have been zoomed in just a bit, so that there wasn't any of that empty space on the sides, because that makes it look like that really does make it seem like it's just a fake scene and it's not as crowded as they had portrayed it in the beginning part of this scene.
Right. And then someone else on another review, I should give proper credit. I don't remember all the reviews I watched. I watched like maybe 3 reviews. At the very end scene that she pointed that out, they showed too much. Someone else pointed out that during these dance scenes back here, you can see up in the top here, you can see what looks like like this makes it look like a cheap set almost, because you can see everything.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
And it was very, very, very obvious if you're watching that. So
I was quite distracted by the dancers, though. The bladers, roller skaters.
So how do you feel about the skaters themselves? How do you think they would do you think that looks pretty good? That would, from what I remember about that time period, that seems pretty accurate. That was a pretty common fad that kind of died off, after a while. It was a common thing to have like roller skating in this way. I'm not saying it's that roller skating has died off, but in this, it was very popular at this point in time. So they wanted to capitalize on that.
It was very impressive. I mean, like, when I see people roller skating, it's not really in a fancy way. It's just like they're doing it more. I feel like it's more for exercise than dance now, because it's like, I mean, for me, I didn't even realize I was exercising. Really, it's more of just playing,
Mm-hmm. And the as far as the fashions, how do you like the fashions in this?
I think they're fun. I think, well, I liked a few of the clothing, and I wish they had it now. Especially the dresses. I love a flowy dress. They're fun. But
Okay, so I wanted to add that I thought the standard outfit that she wore, this one right here, I thought was always pretty nice. So there was one where she was wearing, it wasn't really a dress though. Maybe it's not the one I'm thinking of, where it was like the legs. It's not, when she was dancing, you could see like there was more like you could see her legs more. I don't know what they call those. Those are more what dancers wear. So
yeah, a lot of them. I think all of them in the beginning, that beginning scene where they were coming out of the painting, all of them were wearing those dresses where they were like dancer dresses,
right,
but 70s style.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so you can see the leg going through there, because I've seen ballet dancers wear something similar to those. So, and of course, the interesting thing about this, I've watched other people point this out, is that she's wearing leg warmers. When this movie came out, leg warmers were not popular. So this was actually before they became popular. So, in fact, when this movie came out, leg warmers were often worn by just dancers, both male and female dancers. It was just a dancing thing. So it was just added because I assume because there was a lot of dancing in this. So
yeah, that's
as
true.
as a fashion trend, it didn't pick up till like shortly after this. So
dancers still do. I think dancers still do wear leg warmers, at least the ones that I've like been friends with and seen. Dancers wear a lot of layers, just like before. I feel like they have a lot of different layers for different specific parts of their body, like those sweaters they kind of just go over the arms and the back, sort of sweaters, and then like leg warmers and stuff like that, because they just got to keep their limbs warm while also exercising. It's weird.
Yeah, I guess to help with the blood flow, I guess maybe to those parts of the body. I assume. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I remember in gymnastics, if it was too cold, you get a little crackly, I would say. Okay. Not like, not your bones crackly, but sort of, just stiff, not as able to move.
Right. And a couple of other things to add about this. This was Gene Kelly's last movie that he did anything in. So, and a lot of people were like, I felt, I should not say a lot of people, but the out of the reviews I did watch, a lot of those people were kind of disappointed. I felt sorry for him. I felt sad for him, I should say, because they said he was such an accomplished dancer, and this movie failed, and it's like to go out on this movie was kind of sad for his career. So
yeah, that is kind of sad.
And the other thing is that this movie was eventually made into a play. So it's been a slight. I'm not sure how popular it is. I have heard of it, but I'm not. I think the play is actually more popular in some ways than the movie is. I'm not sure. I don't know all the details about that, but it's actually a long
Interesting.
running play. Yeah. So, it's same. I've only seen images of it. I've never actually seen the play at all. I'm sure if you go on YouTube, you could probably maybe you could find somebody that talks about it more than this. But I just know I just wanted to add that to that. So, also the other thing is I don't like to rag on people, but the guy who played Sonny, Michael, his name was Michael Beck. A lot of the reviewers I saw said that they thought his acting was atrocious. He was the worst part of the movie. That only Gene Kelly and Olivia Newton-John were the only ones that held the movie together. Essentially, what do you think about that?
Wow. That's kind of harsh. I didn't notice anything like too bad about his acting personally. I just think that the role he played, I just think he's unlikable.
Yeah. So it's I didn't. Of course, I'm still looking at this from like I said, from an 11-year-old, so I can't give it a good objective view on this. I still can't get out of that mentality. So I don't find him bad, but I do find him as an adult. I do find him obnoxious, like you're saying, the character itself. So I didn't really see him being that bad of an actor, though. So I'm not sure what they were saying exactly. I would definitely say that the other two were definitely better, but I didn't think he was as bad as they were saying. So
Right. I think maybe on a whole, for the as far as the plot, they did what they could with what they had.
So the basic, so to get in my opinion, it's objectively ignoring my childhood perception of this. The movie definitely is lacking in the way that it's put together, but the music is really good. You have great dancing and singing by both. Well, Gene Kelly did not sing in this one, did he? At one scene, did he sing at all? I know he did the dancing
I
at
don't
the end
think so.
of the clarinet, but that was about it. So yeah, so basically his dancing was great. Gene Kelly was good. Olivia Newton-John is good. And it's just a lot of stuff put together. It overall, it's like to give it a final grade on that, I'd have to say, objectively, I'd say maybe like maybe like an 8 for everything that was at there, but maybe a 5 for implementation.
Yeah, I would agree. I would
The
agree. For like the plot, I would probably give the plot like a 5.5 out of 10, maybe a 5 out of 10. Um, but for the artistic side and like when I say production, I don't mean like ignoring plot, production and artistic stuff. I would say I would agree. Probably like a 8 or 8.5 out of 10. I think it was nice.
And how about the images, like the glowing images around her and the other muses? Did you like that? I kind of like that. I'm not
I
sure how you.
thought it was fun. I think it's a sign of the times. I thought it was good.
And it really, I think I told you this before you watch. I said this is going to look highly dated. Did you think so? Did you think this is highly dated looking? And so,
Yeah.
and for me, it's I since I have watched it a few times. I don't see that only because I saw it when it was brand new. So I know it is, but I just don't see that because I'm still looking at it from that 11-year-old point of view. So
That makes sense. But I feel like every movie is dated somehow. I mean, maybe not like like complete fantasy movies, but movies where they use a phone or wear clothes. That's like it's gonna date it.
right.
But this was pretty particularly so. But I feel like a lot of movies from the 80s you can kind of tell because it was like all the hair, all the lasers, all the neon, the really bold fashion. It was very experimental decade for clothing and hair. And it's known for that. So,
Right. Right. All righty. Before we go too far, we got a couple of highs from Fidel, I guess. Hi. And we got another one that says Taman, very long name there. Hello. So, alrighty. So, anything else you'd like to add to this? I'm trying to remember if there's anything else specific about this movie that stood out.
I don't think so. I would recommend it to, like, if you want to watch a fun artsy movie and you want to get inspired to dance or roller skate and you don't, you're not super serious and nitpicky about plot, then I would definitely suggest this movie.
Okay. And before we go too far, I do want to bring something else up here. Give me 1 second. I got to bring up another window for this. I want to talk about the soundtrack. I'm not going to play any music because I don't want to get any copyrights. But I do remember when I was watched this, the first song I think you hear is "Magic," and that triggers some memories from when I was a kid almost immediately. It was like really weird. So, 1 second.
Cool. I do love ELO. I love Summer and Lightning. That song, I love that song. And last time I listened to it, it was lightning-ing, and it was one of those really interesting lightnings it was mostly in the clouds. You know when that happens and it was nighttime.
Oh, okay.
So it was playing Summer and Lightning in the car, and it was mostly the lightning was in the clouds, and it was just super cool. And there wasn't really any rain, so it was really cool.
That is cool. That does sound cool. I like that. Getting back to the soundtrack. So this is the song. The first one one of the first songs you hear, if not the first, is "Magic." So this one triggered memories when I was a kid. But all these songs, I like all these songs. Even the ones from the '40s. I'm not really into '40s music, but it just seemed for some reason it just really flows. It just I actually had the CD for a while. I'm not sure if I still have it or not because it doesn't really matter anymore because you could just listen to it on YouTube. But I remember playing it all through and it's listening to every song all the way through because I just like all the songs. ELO, like you said, great band. And of course the Tubes are in there with one song, and of course Olivia Newton-John. I liked her singing as well. So, um, anything else you'd like to add to that?
Not really. I would just agree. I did like the soundtrack a lot for this one, and it makes sense that it was very popular.
Yeah, yeah. And from what I remember, Magic definitely being one of the a top 40 song for a while. It was very popular. And I think I can't remember which one. In Great Britain, one of the other videos I watched stated that one of these other songs, I don't know which one it was, might have been Xanadu itself, was also became very, very popular in the charts. So, but Magic and the other ones are still played too. Like I think Suddenly is played usually on soft stations. Um, it's because it has a kind of a timeless quality. Suspended in Time also has a timeless quality to it. So they often play these on these stations that are like what they call MOR, middle of the road. So they're not too lively, not too slow, but just that people can listen to and just have an easy listening kind of experience. So
Yeah, and this kind of thing where the soundtrack is really, really good for the movie, I feel like that's not too common, but it reminds me of the soundtracks that Phil Collins has done for Disney movies. There are two, maybe three in particular that he's done um, that are like really, really good. I think he did the music for Tarzan and Brother Bear, and those soundtracks are so incredible.
oh, that's
And
cool.
this just reminds me of that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you have to forgive me. When were those? I don't know when those movies came out. I never saw them. Were those like '90s movies or you know?
Tarzan, I think that was the first one. That was 1999.
Okay.
And that one, Phil Collins kind of does everything for that one. Everyone loves that soundtrack. Everyone who's heard it, I feel like it might be like, just because, we grew up listening to it, but I think you can't listen to it without liking it because it's Phil Collins. And then the Brother Bear was 2003.
Okay. Okay. So these songs, they were probably very recognizable. Is that correct? Like if people, would you say
Um,
they played on
I
radio stations a lot or?
I feel like they are recognizable, very recognizable if you've watched the movies or if you like Phil Collins. Look Through My Eyes was Brother Bear.
Okay.
That was one of them. And On My Way was another one. Those were probably the more popular ones from that album, and then the Tarzan ones were "You'll Be in My Heart." That one was super popular. I think that's probably one of the most popular ones from these.
Here we go. This is it right here. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, there's the
And I
list.
think, I mean, like, if someone heard it, they would probably recognize it. They might not know that it's associated with a Disney movie. The Disney movie is really good too. I love this movie so much; it makes you cry. Tarzan is pretty good. I like Brother Bear better.
Okay, I remember I don't remember this one at all. I do. I think. Let me see. Just for a second. Let me bring that up. Let's see here. It doesn't have the soundtrack. Oh, maybe. Here we go.
And Brother Bear might be right up your alley, actually.
Okay. This one this one looks familiar. There was another Tarzan movie came out in the 1980s that was supposed to be more true to the original story. So that's the only one that I've not seen this one though, but I do remember seeing images of this before. So the other one I do not know at all. So, but would you say these are family movies, or would you say more for kids?
Definitely. Well, I don't know. I feel like Brother Bear is definitely a family movie. I think they're both. I mean, Disney movies are mostly family movies. And I feel like Brother Bear you can really enjoy as an adult. Tarzan might be a little more basic maybe.
Okay.
Still good. I think parents still love this kind of stuff, so.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, getting back to our movie, anything else you'd like to add before we wrap everything up?
Not really. Do you have anything else?
Would you recommend this movie?
Yeah, again, to someone who is not too serious about plot and likes artistic stuff in movies.
Yeah.
Certainly.
I recommended this to a coworker, and I don't know if she ever watched it. This is a good at least 15 years ago, and I told her it was like the best movie ever. Because I didn't know the reviews were. I was still in the mindset that it was not received well, and I don't know if she ever. I gave her the DVD to watch it, and I don't know if she ever watched it. So I eventually got it back from her. I don't know if she liked it or not. So.
Oh wow. Oh, and you know what? It just came to me. Another soundtrack that really was good for the movie was Jungle Book with Louis Prima.
Jungle Book. There's two versions of that, correct?
I think there's two. Yeah, now there is, but the first one, the good cartoon one, the live action one was freaky and it scared me.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I have not seen. I may have seen that one actually in 1967, maybe when I was a kid or something. I'm not sure. So, but I knew that there was two. I wasn't sure about that one. Okay. So does the music sound timeless? From 1967, do you say it sounds kind of timeless?
I would say. I mean, I really like Louis Prima, and I grew up listening to him, for my musical education, and I like it a lot. I feel like it's definitely something that any kid can jump around to, or adult.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, good. So overall, I would say nowadays I said I did recommend it to somebody, but nowadays since I'm looking at it more objectively, I'd say the same kind of thing. Look at it. If you're looking for something that's just not to take too seriously, but it has a lot of good music and a lot of good visualizations, you'll like it. But if you're looking for something that's some substance, no, you probably won't like it that much. So
I would agree.
Cool. Alrighty, let's go back to our question from earlier. It looks like we got a semi-decent response. Let me refresh the screen one more time. Up to 64 votes so far. Over here, so make sure we don't have any comments. Nope, still 0. So do you roller skate or blade? So which do you prefer? 68% over 2/3 with yes. Interesting. 25% with no. I would fall into that category. 6% with I used to, and 2% with I just started. Okay. It's interesting. That many people over well, that's only out of 64, 65 votes. So it's hard. And obviously this is hardly scientific, but how do you feel about that?
I mean, maybe it's coming back. Maybe a lot of people who watch this live in a climate where they can roller skate often.
Okay.
So maybe it makes sense.
And I'm curious as to, I don't know if roller skating is popular around the world. So I don't know if other countries it's popular. I assume it would be. So I don't know.
That's true.
And as you said, roller skating where you are is popular, but up here it's not. So it could be a more regional thing as well. So
Yeah. And I just saw this video uh of that's pretty that it went kind of viral of a guy uh roller skating through the airport as so he's not running or anything. And I don't think you're allowed to skateboard, but they, haven't told him that he can't roller skate yet. So he roller skates around the airport to get to where he needs to go faster.
is that they permit roller skates but not skateboards?
I guess so. I mean, it kind of makes sense, sort of, because with skateboard, it's like a physical object and it's big sometimes. But with skates, it's just on your feet. So if you don't look like you're gonna fall and hit somebody, you should be good. But I mean, I wouldn't think that roller skating is a good idea where a toddler can toddle out into the middle of the road pathway thing.
Yeah, and it'd be kind of like in the movie. There's a scene where Sonny is going with roller skates, and when he goes into the Pan American building, he actually takes his skates off. He has to walk without any shoes on. So it'd be kind of inconvenient if you had to do that all the time. So
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Because getting my skates on, it's a commitment. Because you have to lace them all the way up.
I was trying to, I can't find them since we were talking about that. Back when I was a kid, there was a company that made these shoes that you could actually, oh, maybe this is kind of similar to it. It would put the wheels inside the shoes. I like it, but it was, they look more like sandals than sneakers. But it was I thought that when I was a kid, I thought they looked kind of cool. I didn't want them, but it looked kind of cool to see little wheels coming out of your shoes. So this is not the ones I saw when I was a kid, but this kind of is reminiscent to that. The ones I remember had bigger wheels, kind of like regular scale. So the bottoms of the shoes were like big platform shoes to hide those wheels inside. So,
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah, I've seen the ones where you kick the back of it. I think that's some of those. Um, but I've seen the one where you kick the back of it and then the wheels pop out. But they're so expensive. Oh, they're yeah, that's it. But that's so expensive, and I mean, it seems really smart.
mhm.
But they're like $250 or something.
Oh, geez, that much. Wow.
And the wheels are tinier, so it seems like you can kind of only use them indoors on a flat surface.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, because if you're outside, you hit a rock.
Even like a tiny piece of gravel. I think I found it and I sent you the link
Oh,
on
okay.
email
Okay.
of the guy.
Yeah, I'll bring it up
But
here.
it's on like a news website. I couldn't find it on YouTube.
Okay. Here we
But
go.
yeah, I feel like my roller skates, I got them when I was in high school because I wanted to try it again, but there was nowhere really to do it.
Oh,
So I
say it
just
again.
had them.
I'm sorry. Say that last part again. I'm sorry. I was bringing it up. I missed that. You did
I
what
was just
now?
talking about my skates. I got them when I was in high school. Um, I didn't just go out and buy some skates today, but I got them when I was in high school, and I just didn't never. It was never really a. I didn't have anywhere to do it, and there was never really a nice temperature or anything. So
Gotcha. Gotcha. So we got man discovers secret to beating SLC airports. I guess that's the name of the airport. I guess. Long walks. So, and I'm trying to find my mouse. Up there it is. So we can see him skating through here. Oh, he's doing pretty good there. How's he? He must have the camera must be on a stick that he's holding or something.
yeah,
Okay, because that's really smooth. It looks better than, yeah, but it's still he's doing a pretty good job.
yeah, it was impressive.
It's pretty funny. So, would you do that? Would you go to an airport wearing roller skates? I would not.
No, I would fall right down.
Oh,
I would and when it's too that's one thing I noticed. When it's too slick for me right now at least, when the floor is too slick, I can fall so much easier. and I kind of like having a a cement kind of not so slippery area to practice, because it's like having training wheels on, kind of. It's much slower.
Gotcha. All right. Well, anything else you'd like to add before we wrap everything up?
Um, I don't think so. No.
We were going to do another Gene Kelly movie for our next show. Is that correct?
Yeah. Singing in the Rain.
Singing in the Rain. Yeah. So yeah, for our next show, we'll most likely, unless we decide to change, but I think we're going to go with that. Singing in the Rain with another Gene Kelly movie. Have you seen this movie yet?
I have not seen it, and I also don't know the plot. I kind of just want to jump into it. I don't want to read the plot.
Okay. And okay, yeah, I've not seen it at all. I've heard of it and I've heard the song, but that's about all I know. So
Yeah.
there's a.
And I know he has a red umbrella, and that's cool.
Oh, okay. And I assume this is probably going to be more similar to the last movie we watched, where he's probably going to be heavily involved with the choreographing and obviously the dancing and all and cameras and everything. So he'll probably have I assume, a major input into this one. So most likely, based on that, be one of his better movies, because I'm basing that also on the fact that it's a well-known title. I mean, so many people, you could just say that and people know what you're talking about.
That's true. Yeah.
All right, everybody. We'll see you for the next show, and I guess have a good one. Oh, and one more thing. Before, if you'd like to support what we're doing, we have the affiliate link for NordVPN in the description below. If you click on that, that helps what we're doing. Thanks again.
Thank you. Have a good night or day.